It's always game day in Cleveland. Daryl Ryder, Andy Baskin. Quick reminder that mobile sports betting has been legal in the state of Ohio since January, and BetQL is here to help you make the most informed bets possible. See all of today's best bets by heading to BetQL.com or by downloading the BetQL app. Claim your free 3-day trial today. Head to BetQL.com/news/923 The Fan for exclusive sportsbook offers.
He's Daryl Ryder. I'm Andy Baskin. So we talked a little bit about Denzel Ward coming back, but let's health-wise, I can't remember the last time the Browns were in this good a shape walking into a season. How are they looking going into this game against the Bengals?
I'm with you. I don't ever remember a Browns team this healthy. Ward, I mean, I just feel like he's going to play. All right. That means
he's going to play. I agree with you.
I'm knocking on wood.
Yeah, I see your camera shaking like crazy.
I'm hoping, but looking at the injury report, Marquise Goodwin, Kevin Stefanski said he's on track.
Good.
Juan Thornhill, Denzel Ward, and Alex Wright, all of those guys limited with injuries. But, yeah, this is the healthiest. I mean, aside from Jakeem Grant's the only player they lost for the season of significance during training camp in the preseason. Think about that for a second, right? I mean, we usually see them lose 2, 3, sometimes 4.
I have like Charles Bentley floating through my mind right now.
Well, you understand what I'm saying, right? I mean,
yeah.
So they got through the preseason relatively unscathed. So they're in pretty good shape heading in to this season opener from a health standpoint. So barring anything happening during Thursday and Friday's practice, as we record this on a Wednesday afternoon, I feel like the Browns are in really, really good shape, Andy.
Let's talk about Joe Burrow for a second in this game, because I mean, obviously we're talking about one of the best quarterbacks in the game, and the Browns defense is going to have a chance to jump out there and show us how good they are. I think the defense is greatly improved. I know that I say that all the time, but last year it was pretty evident that they were going to struggle against the run up the middle because they just didn't have the impact players on the defensive tackle spot. So this year, I feel like they do. I feel like Dalvin Tomlinson can do what he needs to do. I feel like Shelby Harris can do what he needs to do. I really, really think that they're going to give Joe Burrow some fits. And I'm not just talking about that line. I'm talking about the defensive backs, especially if Denzel Ward's in there too. I just think the defense has been improved. What say you?
Well, let's just look at what Burrow has done against the Browns in his career. He's completing over 66% of his passes, twice as many touchdowns and interceptions at 10-5. Burrow's only won one of the 5 games that he's played, just under 1,500 yards passing for his career against the Browns as well. So it's not like Burrow has played poorly against the Browns. That's a misnomer. Like, people look at his record and are like, Joe Burrow can't beat the Browns. They have his number. I don't know necessarily about that. You know what I mean?
It's the anti-Roethlisberger.
Yeah, I just feel like things have kind of bounced the Browns' way a little bit in some of these games. So I don't necessarily believe that Burrow can't beat the Browns. He beat them last year. Remember that. And beat them soundly last year. And in fact, that game on Halloween ended up changing the trajectory of the Browns season as well. So, Anthony Walker calls the front 4 defensive linemen. He calls them the engine of the defense. That they are the ones that really kind of set the tempo, set the pace and whatnot. Myles Garrett coming off back-to-back 16-sack seasons. Can he increase those numbers? My question is not whether or not he can increase those numbers. Can his sacks, or I should say, will his sacks come at meaningful junctures in games? That's what I'm looking for from Myles Garrett this year, right? They were able to trade for Zadarius Smith. They broke out the checkbook and got Dalvin Tomlinson here. They then late in the process, right, during training camp, signed Shelby Harris to come here and push Jordan Elliott out of the starting lineup. Obo Okoronkwo, they brought him here before they even got Zadarius Smith. Obo was supposed to be the guy to line up opposite Myles Garrett. So now you have 3 starting defensive ends there. So The linebackers, I have questions about health and durability. Sione Takitaki, Anthony Walker, both coming off significant injuries. They're going to play Sunday, but I just in my head, I have those questions. In the secondary, I feel good about a lot of the key playmakers there. I love the addition of Juan Thornhill. It kind of feels like he's going to be a ball hawk type of a safety for them. Really like, obviously, Denzel Ward, two-time Pro Bowler. If he's healthy, I think he's one of the premier players at his position in the game. Greg Newsome, I really like him a lot. I know he's not always been crazy about his role here. I think he's got a ton of talent. MJ Emerson, or Martin Emerson, whatever you want to call him. I think that is a brilliant find by Andrew Berry in the later rounds of the draft. I like him a lot. So, yeah, when I look at all three layers of this defense, Andy, I feel pretty good about what they have, especially those starters and the upper tier, the key reserve players. Feel good about it. Deeper down the line, that depth, I don't know. But starters and primary role players feel pretty good about where they're at on that side of the ball.
So, Daryl, one of the aspects of this team that I like a lot is Thornhill and Double O. Because those guys have been there. They have seen the promised land. They understand the Super Bowl. They understand what it's like to not only play out the regular season, but to get there, get to the playoffs, win in the playoffs, and then get to be in the big show. And I just think that for years, this team has had talent, but no one understood the experience of trying to run the whole stretch, of running a whole marathon. We're pretty good at half marathons every once in a while. We are great at running the first mile. Kevin Stefanski could be the best mile coach in the NFL when you think about some of the schemes that he's put together to start football games. But these two guys alone on defense, I look at them and say, man, they get it. They understand it. And if you're not learning from them on how to play the game, then you're making a mistake.
Well, yeah. And, Kevin Stefanski's September record's pretty good too, right? Yeah. They tend to play well early in the season. The problem has been sustaining that, down the line, going deeper into the season. In fact, I'm pulling it up right now because it got sent to me this week. Kevin
Do not look up opening day wins. Please don't do that. I don't want to see that stat.
I'm not going there. But
okay.
In the month of September, Kevin Stefanski is 10-3, or I should say 6-3. Okay. That is the third best winning percentage behind Sean McVay of the Rams, who's 16-4 in the month, 800 winning percentage there out on the West Coast. And then Matt LaFleur, no relation to Peter LaFleur, but Matt LaFleur of the Green Bay Packers, he is 10-3.
Or Peter Lecoq, the former Kansas City Royal, who was, I think, the son-in-law of the guy that hosted Hollywood Squares, Peter Marshall. Okay, go ahead. Sorry. Tangent.
By the way, Kevin Stefanski has a better winning percentage in the month of September than John Harbaugh does with the Baltimore Ravens. Harbaugh's 33-17, and the quick math there is 660. So,
any chance they'll start the playoffs then in October?
No, 0% chance. Well, yeah. Unfortunately, it is an 18-week season, 17 games in total, and the schedule's kind of daunting for the Browns. They're going to have to be road warriors down the stretch if they're going to get into the playoffs. But I expect that they will do just fine.
All right, Daryl, as we continue to talk a little bit more about this team and this game, I want to talk about what you're expecting on Sunday, what we can expect from the Bengals, what we can expect from the Browns. And I also want to talk about some of the rule changes and some of the things we're going to see across the league, some of the big storylines as we head into week one, and what we're going to be watching for, because I think it can be a really, really exciting season. And there are so many great storylines. So we'll talk about that next on It's Always Game Day in Cleveland.